Today we are in an X5 4.0e e-drive, which is a plug-in hybrid BMW SUV all-wheel drive. This is probably one of the first samples of such car in Canada, graciously provided to us today by Toronto BMW. And so we're one of the first Canadian people to actually drive it today, and then we'll be concentrating on keeping it as much as possible in full electric mode. So the car is currently fully charged. We're now in the parking mode. So basically, first we'll explore the different modes available in this plug-in hybrid. So we have an e-drive button here, and as we apply the button, let's see here. There you go, menu. So now we have, as we press the button, we're either max e-drive, save battery, or auto e-drive. So the different modes is basically auto e-drive will use both gasoline engine, which happens to be a 2-liter turbo 4 with 240 horsepower, right? Pretty much the same as you will see in a BMW 328, for example. Then on top of this, you have this 95 horsepower electric motor, and they are both fed through the automatic transmission. So I'm guessing the automatic transmission in this one is pretty much similar to a regular X5, which is correct. Like is a 6-speed or 8-speed?
8-speed.
8-speed, okay. There we go. So basically, we'll try and switch it to max e-drive mode right now. So the auto e-drive, as we said, is both gasoline and it'll switch automatically between the different modes. The max e-drive is basically all electric, and save battery is actually, it just maintains the charge, so it does not use the electric motor as much as possible. I don't know if in the save drive it actually may recharge it. I heard that in some of the e-drives it'll charge it up to about 50%, right?
That 50%.
50%,
yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so we're gonna keep it in max e-drive for now. So let's put it in gear and let's continue driving. So basically the car is almost empty on gas, but we're not worried because we have a full electric range. Now I'm just trying to see the e-drive info. E-drive, there we go. Consumption history, energy flow, eco pro tips. So there's different things. Now I'm just trying to determine where it shows you the electric range. 78. Yeah, there you go. This one here, right? Yeah. This is the button. So you, by toggling this button on the left side, you can see that the electric range is 27 kilometers, and then you press again and it shows you the gasoline range. Okay, so we'll keep it on the electric range so we can keep an eye on this because there's not much gas, but this is fine. Okay, so let's proceed. And of course all the other appointments are you know, as much as the fully loaded X5 with the phenomenal panorama sunroof and everything else. The standard equipment on the e-drive is probably a little bit more pronounced. You get more standard stuff than you would get on the base X5, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's a nice feeling.
Yeah, it's much quieter than the Porsche SE hybrid. I guess Porsche likes their cars noisy even when they are in full electric. So this one is much quieter than the Cayenne SE hybrid, and it's very peppy. You can see the energy flow is still pure electric mode, and I can feel it shifting gears, but you don't hear it. Like it's very subtle. Like the electric motors are basically you don't hear anything. And because the sound insulation in the car in general, in terms of the road noise and wind noise, has been so well insulated in this car, it's a total quiet. So we're gonna try and go on the highway now to see how long we can keep it in full electric and how that's gonna affect the range. Yeah, I can definitely hear it. I mean, feel it shifting, but you do not hear it. I think normally it'll keep it in full electric up until about 120 or so,
yes,
right?
Correct.
Yeah, so 75 miles per hour or 120 kilometers per hour. So I'm not even sure if we'll be able to reach the top electric speed because of the speed limit here, but
I think you'll be okay.
Yeah. And it has a lane keeping assist, and it has adaptive cruise probably, right? As standard now,
yes,
pretty much.
And also the blind spot detection.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. So we're doing over 100 already, and it's keeping it well within all electric mode. Now, mind you, you may have noticed we're fogging up because we turned the climate control off. So we're down to 20 kilometers range right now, and if we turn on the climate, it went down to 18 kilometers. So that is not a huge penalty for having the climate control on. In some of the other plug-in hybrids, you'll see the decrease in as much as 30 to 50%. So here it's fairly minimal, which is great. So now the question is probably like with most other plug-in hybrids, you can use the same gear modes as you would have in the regular X5, which is basically you can put it in sport mode, and then as soon as you start shifting away, you can basically manually change the gears, right?
Whenever you go to sports, though, it actually tells you the eDrive is not available. Once you go into that mode.
I see.
Yeah.
So automatically, as soon as you go into sport, it goes into a sport mode, which uses both engines. Driver request. Okay. Engine running.
Yeah.
You can barely hear the engine, though.
It is still very quiet. Now, you can also use the different drive modes as well.
Oh, I see.
So if you want to change the adaptive suspension, from comfort to sport, to Eco Pro as well.
So this is for hybrid driving, basically. It has the various modes, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so now we can definitely hear the engine. So now it's in power mode. So now we're in sport mode. So as soon as you turn into sport mode, it goes into hybrid mode. And so now we're in manual. Manual in second gear. Yeah, so it basically, as soon as if you're in this mode, it basically automatically starts using the hybrid mode. So to keep it in all electric, you have to put it back in drive, and then it'll probably eventually switch back to. Let's see here. Yeah, we're already in maxi drive, so yeah, it turned off the engine. Okay, gotcha. So it's a little bit different than some of the Audis, because the Audi will try and still stay. Even in manual mode, it'll try and stay, but this is now the small e-tron. The big e-tron, like this size, which would be comparable to this, would be a Q7, which hasn't come out yet. It'll probably have the same because of the weight of the car. Once you go into manual or sport, it'll automatically go into hybrid mode. So to keep it in all electric, you just keep it in drive, basically. And then, of course, we have the other. We can go to menu, and then it has all the other multimedia. It has. There you go, different kinds of music, of course, external devices. Now it has connected drive as well, which is the internet, basically, right?
Correct.
So it's like a browser. You have a
BMW online service, roadside assistance is all provided on board now. The navigation, you'll have real-time traffic available, which is on this model here. So this will tell you in real-time congestion, accident reports, things like that.
In real time, basically.
Yes, very similar to the Google Maps application from the iPhone. Over here is your driver's assistant package, so you can customize your collision notification, pedestrian detection, lane departure. We usually leave all the systems active.
All on. The default is all on, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. So again, your range will depend on how aggressive you are on the gas pedal, but I'm barely touching the gas pedal, and it feels very peppy, which just proves that the 95 horsepower of the electric motor, even though this is over 2 tons, or what's the?
Yes.
It's over 2 tons, yeah, including the weight of the batteries. But you don't feel that because and the 100 horsepower electric motor is managing the weight quite well because of the torque of the engine. So, I'm being very delicate on the gas accelerator pedal. I shouldn't say gas because there is no gas. On the accelerator pedal, and it still feels very peppy, very responsive, much more so than some of the other plug-in hybrids that we drove recently. So it's a typical BMW thing that everything is set for the BMW specs. Very, very reactive.
Absolutely.
Very instant response to acceleration. Oh boy. Somebody just cut them off. But yeah, no, it's very impressive, and especially for the size of the car and everything else. So most people, again, even though the official rating is 28 kilometers, if you don't use the climate, so again, if we turn it off right now, we're back up to, the range increases. So if you don't use the climate control, your range will go up. If you're delicate on the accelerator pedal, and depending on the terrain, of course, and the speed, if you avoid the highways, the range will go up. I can see people managing 30 to 40 kilometers on this car without any major hassles during the warm months, especially. Obviously, in the winter, the range goes down for all the electric cars, but it's very pleasant to drive. And it's a big, spacious car as well. So I think you guys will do very well on this. Already I can see, you can probably, if you're on the group, the X5 xDrive group in the States, they're doing phenomenally well. I think they started delivering them in July.
Yeah, I heard that.
So there's a lot of...
Well received.
Yeah, and then so a lot of people have like an i3 and this, or they'll have a Tesla and this, you know. So I think in a way, yeah, for some people it'll be a definite alternative to the Tesla Model X at half the price.
Right.
Really, you know.
Yeah.
So, and it's already available where the Model X, I mean, it is technically available, but there's probably 1 year delay or waiting list for...
There is a bit of a, initial production will be a little bit limited, but it will be widely available.
So for somebody who orders it today, what's the average delay for this particular model?
I have to check the production dates right now, but typically it's about a month.
A month. Okay, so it's not so bad.
No.
Yeah, where with Tesla it's six to 12 months. You know,
Right.
it's an average wait time right now for the Model X especially.
Yeah.
Until the production ramps up. So this is, and it comes off the same assembly line as the regular X5.
The Spartanburg, yes.
In North Carolina, right?
Correct. Yes.
So that's the other thing, is they don't have to be shipped too far. So it's a local production in North America.
Get them a little quicker than waiting from Germany.
So it's produced locally in the USA, where the plug-in hybrid Cadillac, for example, will be made in China and shipped back to the United States. So it's good to see that at least BMW is producing cars in the US. Yeah, very quiet, very quiet. And again, the nice thing is that, you know, whether you use the climate or not, there doesn't seem to be a huge effect on the electric range, which is good. So that means that the climate system is very efficient. So as we discussed before, this is your first plug-in hybrid, but will be very soon followed by the BMW 330e,
Correct.
which is basically a plug-in hybrid 3 Series, which will have very similar setup to this, so still a 2-liter turbo and an electric motor. I think the battery in this one is slightly bigger, so it's just under 10 kilowatt hours, where in the 3 Series it'll be around 8 or so, exactly. So it's a slightly smaller battery, but because it's a lighter car, the electric range will be very comparable to this. So it'll be still around, 30
Close to
kilometers,
30,
estimated 30, which can be pushed to more, with careful driving. Okay, so what we're gonna do is probably just try and do a little drive-by with our cameraman sitting in front, so we have some.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so you're good?